Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today, I'm going to talk to you about what constitutes a healthy houseplant. So there are a few things to look for when you're shopping for plants. Also, when you're looking through your collection, making sure everybody's looking good, there are things that you can look for. So these are some of the signs of contented, healthy houseplants. And here I have put for you a few of those such plants, healthy, happy houseplants here for you to take a look at as I talk here as well. This is Lucy here. She is in a Spider Plant Revival series. You can see she's looking really good. And she's actually going to be getting repotted fairly soon here because she's just about ready for that. And she is a healthy plant. Now, if you look at the beginning of the series, I'll put a link below for that playlist. She looked pretty raggedy when I first saved her, but she's looking good now. So she, before, would be a really good sign of a plant that was not healthy and happy, contented, or anything like that. Okay, so here are some of the signs of that they are really happy. Happy houseplants don't complain with pests or diseases. So you're going to get some pests and diseases here or there, minor, especially things like mealybugs tend to come and go a little bit here and there. As long as you keep them under control, the plant is still healthy. But obviously a plant that has covered in mealybugs, covered in scale, something in spider mites, and it's not healthy. It's got some things going on with it that need to be taken care of. But when it's happy, when the houseplant is happy, it's going to be perky. It's going to have like Lucy here, and like this nice Dracaena here. It's going to have nice, vibrant foliage, very buoyant foliage, full of a lot of pep and energy. The plant will look very peppy, very happy, very perky. So a lot of the times you can just look at a plant and know it's doing well. Now, obviously, if the plant needs watering, it's not going to be that perky, so keep that in mind. Obviously, if you're looking at your plants and you see a plant that's a little bit droopy, then it is definitely time to water the plant, but make sure before you do that you test for water readiness, because droopy leaves can also be a sign of root rot, and I do have a series on that in terms of how to save a plant from root rot. And actually over here is Henry in the background here, and he is the star of my series on saving a plant with root rot. He was saved from root rot. At that point, he wasn't happy and healthy, but now he's doing really, really well as well. So here I could move this plant out of the way a little bit, and you can get a better view of him. So at this point, he's 2.5, almost 3 feet tall now. So he's doing really, really nicely. Okay, so as mentioned, you can tell perky, happy, just looking good. No disease or very little disease and pests. Distorted, shriveled leaves that yellow, fall off, especially a lot of them, and early, like they say the leaf isn't that old and it starts to do that sort of thing. That is a sign generally of root rot, or it could be a sign of a really bad pest invasion like scale, especially scale, which will turn the leaves yellow. I have a video on scale and how to treat that. So you would not see that in a healthy plant. Okay, this is another really important one. Plants that are healthy are going to have a real firm base. So you see this one, which actually is going to be being potted into this plant, this planter. It is very, very sturdy. I can do that with the other plants here. This one too, sturdy, not really moving much. So if you have a plant where you're touching the base of the plant, and the base of the trunk where the plant meets the soil, and it's very, very wobbly, that is potentially a sign of crown rot, stem rot, And that's not, a lot of times, not a good sign. Now, you may find, however, one thing to keep in mind is when you feel down on the base of that plant, so I'm doing that at the base of this guy here, it's still very firm, okay? So that is an indication that it's not necessarily rot at the stem or rot at the base of the plant or crown, but just that it's a little bit uneven for some reason or another. If that's the case, you want to repot the plant or do some top dressing and get it securely into the soil so that it can grow upright and healthy. So if you see your plants wobbling, if they're the little listing to one side, do check and make sure that it's not rot. And if it isn't rot, then make sure they stand tall. So you may need to use stakes to keep them upright so that they can grow strong upright. Otherwise, you're going to have plants that are growing to the side, sideways and things, and that's not always a good look. So another thing is if you see, when you look at the plant roots, if you're able to look at the plant roots, this one does have some roots, so that's good. I'm going to show you the plant roots. Like I said, this one does need repotting. The plant roots will be, as you can see here, very, very thick. They will be generally a tan color, sometimes a light brown color like this, sometimes a white. This one is whitish brownish in color. They will, when you touch them, they will feel firm. They won't feel squishy. They won't be all squishy and black. Some black squishy roots is normal. Just like foliage, roots do die off. They aren't there forever, but you don't want to see a lot. So anytime you see a lot of squishy black roots, even dark brown mushy roots, that is a sign of root rot, or could be a sign of root rot. So check it out. But that right there showing you this plant is really healthy by seeing the roots. Some plants will have roots coming out the top. Most of them will have at least some coming out of the bottom. If you're not sure, you can always tap the plant out of the pot. So turn it over, hold your hand over it like this, turn so you keep the soil in. You can even put a bag around it or something, plastic bag around it, something even better, and turn the pot over. I'm not going to do it with this one since we know that this one is okay from looking at those roots. But you can turn it over, tap the side of the pot, the rim of the pot on something hard like the side of a table, and pull it out and gently, and just check out the roots and then put the plant right back in again. That is something that you can do to check the roots out. You should see a lot of really nice roots around the outer edge of the soil as well. And like I said, looking for white, light brown, tan, sometimes even a little greenish, but not squishy, mushy, yucky. And another sign of a plant not being in real good health is the fact it doesn't have a lot of roots. Because what happens with root rot is the plants, the roots rot, and they just go away. They don't really go away. What they end up doing is they dissolve into the surrounding soil. So you'll find the plant, you'll look and you'll find like, oh geez, there's hardly any roots on it. So that could be a sign of a plant that's not doing well, especially if a top part isn't doing well. It could also be a sign of beginning root rot, which can happen when you pot up in too big of a pot. And I talk about that. What's really important is to have 2/3 plant to 1/3 pot combo. This one was recently repotted, so it gives you a really good idea of what that looks like. So 1/3 pot to 2/3 plant. That's a healthy mixture, and that is one way to have really healthy plants and to prevent root rot. So if you do, say you find, you examine the roots and you find, oh geez, look at that, it looks like the roots are rotting, get that plant into a smaller pot right away, and you can probably stop the whole root rot process. Okay, another thing obviously is plants that are budding up and flowering. So this one, you'll see, this is an African violet. You see the bloom up there, and underneath there, take a look, you will see that there is a little bud there of a brand new flower that will soon be opening up as well. And this one just finished with a bunch of other ones too, so it's already reblooming. So that's something too. Things that continue to bloom, continue to look healthy, those are signs of healthy plants. And especially if the plant is supposed to be budding up and flowering, but it's not. Now remember, plants will take a little bit of time in between budding up and flowering. You can see this one only has 2 and it was covered a little while ago, so it will likely start to get more very soon, but they do take little breaks in between. Another sign, I've already mentioned scale and mealybugs, but they will, when they eat, they create a sticky substance, and it's almost like someone dropped some maple syrup or some honey in your house on the floor or on the table near the plant. That's another sign that the plant has some pests, because what happens is when those pests eat the foliage, they excrete this sticky substance, and basically they're pooping out the sticky substance, and that is what creates that sticky substance. So that's another sign that your plant may be in a little bit of peril, and it's time to obviously look at the pests and get rid of the pests so that the plant can get healthy again. And then just you being able to look at the plant and just knowing from looking at the plant, wow, that plant is really healthy. Indoor gardeners know that. They know that by looking, even if you've only been gardening for a month or 2 indoors, you'll very soon find that you just know by looking at a plant that it's healthy. So go ahead and remind yourself when you see plants in stores and things like that, that you know what a healthy plant looks like. Now, if you want to do a saving job, you want to save a plant, and you know by looking at it, that plant isn't really healthy, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it anyway, that's fine. But if you're really looking for just easy plants that are just going to be very healthy for you, then just go with that gut instinct. And also go with the gut instinct when you see plants in your house that you can tell are starting to ail, even if it's only a little bit, you know, and you'll a lot of times get kind of that sinking feeling like, oh geez, what's wrong with that plant? It looked so good last week. And so take a look. The sooner you figure out what the problem is, the sooner you can get the plant back up to being really, really healthy again. So that's it for signs of a healthy, happy, contented house plant. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.